Surprisingly, man, as you've seen in the video, this came out fantastic. What's up, y'all? You know what? I noticed that there hasn't been a lot of people that you normally upload videos. They haven't been uploading videos, window cleaning videos. It's lack of content out here. I found that kind of interesting. Some of the big shots in the window cleaning world, I haven't seen them put out a video in a minute. Not that I care, but that's just telling you something. You know what I mean? So those who are still pushing on and still fighting this battle, cleaning all through this whenever they can. I'm a dedicated soldier, man. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I just keep going and going and going. You know what I mean? Now, I'm being smart about it. Have you seen in my previous video, 2 cops knocked on the door, and they gave me what I could be facing if I'm caught out here. You feel me? So based on what they said, I'm cool. You know what I mean? I'm abiding by the regulations and rules. There isn't a 2-hour minimum like some countries. Some window cleaners been leaving some comments. Don't think that I don't read them. I read them very well. And I know you said you can only be limited to 2 hours a day outside. And, a bunch of other things. It hasn't gotten that bad yet where I'm at. Thank goodness, knock on wood. But I got to tell you, man, I keep pushing on. So I'm uploading videos still like a madman. So to Adam Lefford, he asked me, was I using a soap solution and treating the window before I squeegeed it or used my tool? And I told him, I explained to him in the comments, I'm not going to draw this video out too much, but needless to say, I have a solution that I'm going to be solving that issue of having to switch because, like I said, that was my latest prototype, and I hadn't yet finished it. So I was using it as is just to see if the concept worked better than my original prototype. All right, so that was a test that I was satisfied with. So I have a few different options. I can attach a mop to it. But what happens when I need something more abrasive? Then I have to use a separate tool. So I thought about just having a wide tip adapter so I can have a separate tool like the Highflyer. Wagtail, no, not the Highflyer. Well, it's funny, MacGyver Brain had told me he was going to cut up one of his Highflyers. Listen, I don't suggest anyone cut up their Highflyer. And if you do, you can't reverse it. You got to know what you're doing. This guy, he knows what he's doing. I'm going to leave the link in the description below so you can check him out. He really is MacGyver. He does things in his own way, but I like it. And what someone doesn't agree about what I do, you see his video, you might be like, now I can do that. Now that's something that works into my personality, so it may work for you. He's got some nice handy tips that I said to myself I'm going to use. Excuse me. I have yet to apply them, but I will. But go check out Brian MacGyver. What I'm saying is I'm going to use a wide tip adapter and have the other side connected to my Wagtail wave because I like how I started using that as a doodle bug. That was me. I haven't seen nothing. I haven't gotten that tip from nobody, but it works. Now, if you really want to beef it up, you can change out the Velcro and have something more industrious, so you can actually broaden what you want to stick to it. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I got a lot of things to stick to it as is. I just ripped the microfiber pad off, and you see, because it's 6 inches, it's better than one of those 8x4 doodle bugs like Unger and Swifter mop, like those types of doodle bugs. It doesn't get the corners well. I explained this to you in my recent residential video. So now that led me to a different idea, a nice mod that y'all gonna want to do. I'm gonna let y'all have this one. It's not a big deal. It's so simple, but no one's thought about it. But I'm gonna share it with y'all, and it's gonna get the edges. It doesn't even matter if you want to be nose to glass, because of when you're using a pole, you're limited on how much pressure you can apply when scrubbing a window, right? I think we can all agree upon that, right? So check this out. When you're on the ladder, there isn't an issue because you're right up on the glass. But when you're using a pole and you want to eliminate ladders from your life, I got a small, you know what? I'm not going to even tell y'all because I want to be the first to do it. It is going to get the edges and corners just like if you were up on that ladder, nose to glass. That's all I got to say. And then you switch your tool and then you cover outside the edge area for the surface area, in other words. So, in other words, you're doing more of a thorough job because of the lack of pressure, particularly on the ends. But I told you the Wagtail Wave gets more up to that edge, so that means it's less you have to scrubbing you have to do when it comes to using the edge machine. It's called an edge doodle bug, an edger. The edger doodle bug is what I'm going to call it. But this is Masters at Wagtail, and before I let y'all go, I just wanted to say I'm very pleased with that pure water squeegee, man. But the fact that I gotta try to break away from is the fact that I'm doing it still traditionally. That it's fine, but I haven't tested that theory yet. I'm gonna work on this theory. You see how I dug the top out? Probably I went back and forth like a few times, right? Then I made my straight pulls just as if I was actually doing it traditionally. I don't know if that's necessarily possible. I mean, I don't know if it's necessary, basically. I'm trying to think of, just after wetting it down, if it's been neglected for quite some time, then you use your scrubby doodle or whatever it is you're using. Then you would turn around on a pole because you're using a Y adapter, right? Here's my concept. I'm going to change this probably later on. But once you turn it around the other side, you could use the pure water and not have to dig the top out like that and just stick it up and do straight pulls if you want. But the beautiful thing about this is that I notice there is no mistakes, because I just seen a recent video with Steve-O with the pencil jets, right? The time it takes for you to do what he said, make sure you're rinsing all of the window and overlapping where you started from, left off previously, you see that's too much work and that's too much thought involved. And if you don't do it correctly, like he said, you will get spots. I've gotten them when I first even embraced the water fed idea, before it sunk into my brain. Like, Well, why am I going to leave a window wet? That baffles me, you know? So what this does, instead of rinsing it, it doesn't even matter if you don't overlap where you left off from, because you're pulling it straight down, just like as if you're squeegeeing. Anything you have missed, it doesn't even matter, is what I told you. Technique doesn't even matter, doesn't apply. A homeowner could use this thing. Shh, don't tell them. I told my customers that, but they were impressed. They support me so much that they gave me a tip, wanted to feed me, gave me a care package with bananas, oranges, a bunch of pens, and said if I run out, stop by and get them. Referred me the same day down the street. You see what I'm saying? They loved my gadget, man. It's a conversation starter. But this is Masters at Wagtail, and I'll see you in the next one.